Hey guys, welcome back to Kuma Style Reviews. What we're taking a look at is Bandai Tamashii, the latest in their metal build line. It is the OO 7-Sword G. The G is for the inclusion of the GN Sword Blaster, which is on his right shoulder there. Pretty cool stuff. And for you guys who have the previous release of the 7-Sword, there was a Tamashii Web exclusive release of just the Sword Blaster by itself. So we'll take a look at that when we go over the accessories. But for those of you who are unfamiliar, it's from the Gundam OO anime. It is the OO Gundam, but the 7-Sword upgrade. So his 7 swords, the big Buster Sword right there. He has the GN long sword on one side, the GN short sword on the other side. So 1, 2, 3, and then for 4 and 5, those are the GN katars, as well as, if you can see, we'll actually zoom in here, 2 beam sabers that detach from his back hip skirt there. So he's definitely armed to the gills. He also comes with a conversion kit just to become the regular OO Gundam as well, so we'll check that out too. In terms of weight, he is just under a pound. And this is zeroed out, so this part doesn't even count, even though it doesn't weigh anything. But height-wise, he is just under 7 inches tall. He is about 6 3/4. Alright, so let's take a look at this guy. Actually, first, we're going to take a look at the accessories. Then we'll dig into them. Alright, giving you the top down, bottom to top look. For those of you guys who are unfamiliar, I'm going to stop here for a second with the metal build line. A lot of the diecast is actually, well, pretty much all of the diecast is on the inner frame. So like parts you can see on the joints and whatnot, that's what gives them that heft. But also while you're actually in the ankles and stuff, and while you're posing him, you actually feel like that tightness or whatever that comes from it. It's pretty cool stuff. Went back and forth about going over the poseability without all the weapons attached and stuff like that, but I figured it'd be kind of cool for you guys to see him posed and whatnot with the weapons. So, alright. Full range of motion in the head here. 360 side to side, full up and down. Neck movement as well. Now these shoulder pads here, they move out of the way pretty well. Alright, so even if you want to display him with the sword blaster as well as the big Buster sword, just downward, kind of like a cape. I mean, you could do that. There are lots of display options with them, but there you go. Now, one thing before we go any farther down, this one, 360s, it actually comes with alternate GN drive, which are those cone-shaped things on his shoulders, that has that 360 rotation to it. This, they didn't upgrade the Buster side GN drive, so for it to be angled, it actually has an adapter piece that goes right there, and it comes for one if you want to display it on the other side. Both of these are swappable too, but that angles it. If not, you just take that piece out and it's straight down. Just for the sake of it potentially touching the ground and stuff like that, I just prefer the angled. But I do wish that there was something that could have made this swivel around. That would have been cool. They probably would have had to change the Buster sword itself, though, which probably wasn't worth the effort, since you could just do that. And they chose a good angle for it, too. But anyway, moving on. Get that out of the way just so you could see, but full movement of the shoulders, double jointed elbows. And what's really cool to me, his wrist here, outside of just having the swivel and whatnot, there's actually some swing to him, some up and down swing, and the tip of that forearm there. Now, 2 points of articulation in the waist for the swivel, a little bit of crunch, and then a separate crunch here as well, that piece. All right, now these flaps do move in and out. The front piece of his skirt disconnects and actually comes up for that forward swing. And for the waist swing, it's just a lot of stuff. This actually moves down so that you could swing his waist easier. All right, and we'll put that back up so you can see. Now, if there was one thing that I wish, it's just that the long and short sword, they peg in here, hold by friction. I wish that the male pegs were just thicker so that they stayed in better. Stay in fine, but when you get to playing with it and stuff like that, they fall out, you know, I wouldn't say easy, but I'd say you got a 50-50 shot, you know? You definitely have to be careful. More careful than I think you should have to be. Alright, so just moving on with the poseability here. Just lots of swing. Double jointed knees. Tons of ankle tilt. Forward back movement. Ankle rockers, as well as that foot movement itself too. So just a lot of poseability here. All right, get him back into place, and the balance is really good on this thing, especially considering those big old weapons. All right, I'm not gonna go over every single weapon here. There's a full, glorious pictorial review on kumastyle.com. Link is in the info button up here on the upper right, or in the description as well. Check it out. Tons of pictures, shows off all the weapons actually in their different modes and whatnot. But the main one that I want to show, and I think it's really cool because it kind of shows the epitome of how he holds all of his weapons, is the new G-inch sword blaster. And it's cool because it has a couple of options here too. So there's that adapter piece, right? Or that alternate GN drive that just pops out. And for look's sake, put in the correct one that doesn't have all the rest of that business hanging down. Alright, so just like the long and short sword, this one has one of these little pistols attached to it that acts as a handle. Just goes on like so. And you could actually take that out. We're going to have him hold it right-handed. Just using his trigger hand. Alright. So there it is. Pretty long weapon. And again, he's got a couple of options here. So if you choose. Alright, so here's one configuration. He's balancing it out with both hands. This became unclipped, but it clips in pretty decent. Alright. I don't exactly know why it's doing that, but we're going to have to let it ride for the sake of this review. There we go. Another one, and this is one I really like, is it clipping to the back of his arm. And the barrel does extend if you didn't notice it while it was in blaster mode. And there it is, just as a big huge sword. So technically he's an 008 8 sword, but for the sake of not being petty or that guy, he's the 7 sword G. And again, the G is because of this GN sword blaster that he's got in his right hand there. Alright, and here it is, the OO conversion. Again, this is just the standard OO. As seen as in the anime. The biggest differences are going to be the GN swords, different ends, and the knee pads. Instead of carrying as many weapons, he's primarily the same. I'm not a big flight stand guy, but the metal build ones are pretty impressive. They're always pretty much the same stand, and they're adjustable, just like the Master Grade 1/100 stands. You got a piece here, to where you can bring it up, down, angle it. And then this piece right here just locks and unlocks, goes up and down. Just gotta find that piece there. Now you have 2 parts. You could either have this go around his waist, or the one I prefer just pegs into his taint area or whatever. So we'll go there. And I mean, it holds so well. Get something quick here. But I mean, even with the figure on it, it's so strong to where if you wanted to angle it, lock it, it's more than fine. Bring it in, lower the camera a bit. With light so you can see the damn thing. And there you go, there's Stan. Again, thanks for watching. This has been the review for Bandai Tamashii's metal build 7 sword /G or 7 sword G. Check out the full written pictorial review on kumastyle.com. Link will be in the description, or just by clicking this info button right here on your upper right side. If you like this, please share, subscribe, and I will see you next review. Thanks again for watching.